This is Scott from KIG. It's September 24th, 2016. We're going to do a runoff today, a couple videos in our small chiller test area here on this 15-ton, 460 volt Drake chiller. We're going to do just a walk around with it turned off and the side covers off. We do have all the side covers on this for this unit. We can leave the bottom side covers off during testing just to talk about the piping and so forth. But these top covers here, before we turn it on, we do have to put those covers back on. The way this is set up, we have a compressor, it's a dual compressor system. You got a compressor on the left and a compressor on the right. Each of those is about 7.5 horsepower. And each of these compressor sections have two condensers here. To get the proper flow over each condenser, obviously this has to be a sealed chamber. So that these covers here for our testing will go back on. Just so real quick, just some basics in here. There you have your thermo expansion valve, one on each side. Here you have your hot gas bypass, or your head pressure control here. That can be adjusted by a technician based on the water temperatures you're going to be running. We have this set up assuming the customer is going to be running in the high 40s to 60 F set point range. And there's one of those on each side. And in the back we have our receiver and our suction line accumulator. Both of the units have a refrigerant sight glass, and in both cases you want to see a little green dot there that indicates that it's dry. And some people use it to make sure they're not flashing while it's running in some cases that might indicate a low refrigerant charge. Not always, but in either case for this unit here they're not flashing. Flashing means that there's bubbles showing and kind of some foam while the unit is the compressor's on and while the unit is operating. So this is a nice two-pump system. So we have one pump here called the evaporator pump, or the circulation pump. This is obviously the suction side of your pump, and we get a nice big insulated oversized tank here. So what this does is it suctions or draws off, let's call it the left side and the bottom of this tank. Okay, and it pumps up through here to the insulated braze plate exchanger, and that's back. It's kind of tough to see. That's kind of the rectangle you see back there. That's where all the refrigeration takes place between the refrigerant and the water, or the water glycol solution, whatever the case may be. Important is this is a Y strainer here. The flow goes in this direction. This should be taken off periodically and that mesh in there cleaned. This here is a shut-off, okay? In some cases, right now we have it wide open. In some cases, depending on what the flow situation is and back pressure, sometimes these like to be closed just a little bit, maybe 10 or 25%, to make sure there's enough back pressure so the pump is not over-amping. But depending on your process, that may not be a problem at all. So we have the process pump on the other side. This draws from the tank on the right side of the tank here, and simply comes up here and goes out to your process. In this case here, for our testing, we're just looping around. We have a little flow meter here, and that's coming right back in to the chilled fluid from process. This insulated section here and behind this copper fitting here, this was a area we were talking to the customer. We had to replace this and this here, and actually required a little bit of brazing to braze on a black bracket to mount it correctly here. So somehow the prior user, trying to take off a fitting, just over torqued the copper pipe here, and it bent to the point where it was restricting flow a little bit. Not crazy, but enough that we wanted to make that change. That took about half a day to do it right, to be honest. So it's a 460 volt unit, the model packed 180. 180 stands for 180,000 BTUs. Divide that by 12,000, that gives you about 15 tons nominal. And it gives you all the other voltage, amps, and so forth here. Pretty basic controller. It's nice we have all the schematics and stuff in here. And we have our condenser contactors, our compressor contactors, system pump contactor, etc. When you do the initial startup, actually we'll put the side covers on, then we'll talk a little bit about pump rotation. And before I forget, for this unit, the complete operator's manual and the controller manual is online on our website, even after they're sold and shipped. Sometimes the easiest way to find it is if you Google Drake chiller, then the serial number, in this case D as in David 04D0192. Your Google search should direct you right to a couple PDFs actually. And we do leave those up for years, and our customers do enjoy that service. Okay, video number 2, we'll be back in a second.